Greetings everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about selling on Poshmark. I know that about a year ago I was really wanting to minimize my closet and get rid of a bunch of clothes that I wasn't wearing and that I just didn't need, and it was just taking up a bunch of space in my closet. So that's what I did, and I'm just going to teach you a little bit about the tips and tricks of how to sell successfully on Poshmark, because I know Poshmark can be kind of daunting and kind of weird because it's definitely a little bit more complicated than just going to a thrift store and giving them all your clothes in a big old plastic bag. But I think that you'll make a lot more money using Poshmark, and that it's actually kind of fun when you learn how to do it successfully. So with all that being said, let's jump into the video. Okay, so I have a whole list of notes on here, so bear with me. This is probably going to be a lengthy video, but it's really going to touch on a lot of things that I wish that I knew when I first started out on Poshmark. So if you don't know what Poshmark is, it's an app to sell your used or gently used clothing. And speaking of gently used clothing, I use that term because this is what you need to sell. You cannot sell your gross clothes that has stains all over them, that are ripped and have holes in them. You know, you can't sell that because first of all, nobody's gonna want to buy that. Second of all, I know that even if you do put in the description on your listing that there are stains or something, I feel that there have been many times where people have been upset about that and then they return it or they give you a really bad review. So I would just generally recommend you to just get rid of those clothes. Give them to your, charity, give them to your local Goodwill or anything that kind of is in that spectrum of things, because really it's just not worth it. Tip number 2. So if there's something wrong with what you are selling, make sure to list that in the description below. Like if you have, say, jeans that are in really good condition, you only wore them a couple times, but there is a little bit of tear in some of the stitching or whatever, make sure to tell them that. Make sure that you make note of that in your description so that people know. I know most of the time probably people would not notice, but I would just rather play it safe. Also, make sure to take a picture of that little tiny flaw that you have in that item of clothing that you have. Therefore, people can actually see, that it's not that big of a deal, but at least they're aware that it's there when they're purchasing it. Tip number 3. So this is probably the most important tip of all, and I cannot stress this enough to you, how important it is to take really good pictures of the items that you're listing. It's so important because first of all, people are gonna scroll past your stuff if it looks dull, if it's a crappy picture, there's no good lighting, and you just look like you just threw it on the ground and you took a quick picture of it and uploaded it to Poshmark. Please don't do that. I did that because I'm lazy, but I suffered because I never sold the things that I did that with. So here's a tip. When you are ready to list an item, I would hang it on a hanger and then hang it up somewhere where it looks nice, where it's a nice clean and plain background, and take the picture with your phone camera, not on the app, because if you go on the app, you can list the item by just taking a picture on it through the app, but I think it kind of makes the quality a little bit worse when you do that. So I would just suggest going in on your phone, using your own camera on your phone and taking a picture of the clothing that you're posting, and then maybe go in and edit the brightness, edit a little bit of the sharpness or whatever, just to make it look a little bit more crisp and clear, and it'll stand out so much more in the photo that you're posting. So tip number 4. This is also pretty important. So when you're going to list your item, I would suggest to list it a wee bit pricier than what you would initially take for the item you're listing. I can't talk. So I say this because a lot of the time Poshers will come in and they'll ask like $5 off or $6 off. They'll offer that to you for that item, and if you just list your item $5 or $6 more than what you would take it for, then you could just accept their offer, and then they're happy, you're happy, and they think they're getting a good deal, but you're really getting a good deal because that's what you originally planned on anyway. So it's really just a win-win. Tip number 5, let's talk price drops. So if something isn't selling in your closet that is just sitting there, it's been there for a few weeks or a few months, and you just don't know why it's not selling and it's annoying, you just want to get rid of it, I would suggest go in to that item and edit it, and under the title I would write in all caps price drop with a couple exclamation marks or some eye-catching emojis or something, just so that people will see it and see that, oh, there's a deal going on. Then in your price, edit just a couple dollars down. It could be $3, it could be $5, it could be $10 if you want, if you're just desperate to get rid of it. Make sure to write in the description as well that this price drop is only happening for 1 hour. That way, people feel like they have a time limit, and I feel like when people have only an hour to make a decision with their life, they're gonna opt to get it because they feel like they're getting a good deal. And I know that I'm a sucker for that too, because people on Poshmark do it all the time, and you know, sometimes they even mark down their shipping to $4, which is pretty cool too. Tip number 6 is really sweet and simple. It is just to keep sharing your listing. I know that sounds so plain and so dull, but it really works. If you keep sharing your listing, it doesn't matter how many followers you have, people will see it more. And the more eyeballs you have on your items that are listed, the more chance you are likely to sell. Tip number 7 is all about Poshmark parties. There are so many different kinds of Poshmark parties, I cannot even explain to you all the different realms of Poshmark parties. There's casual wear, there's outerwear, there's women's tops, I believe, best in tops, best in outerwear, Tiffany & Co. party, like they have all different kinds. Or they have Anthropologie, Free People, Zara parties, which are really cool, and it's just a perfect way to share your item on a huge feed that other people are constantly like searching through because they're trying to find, you know, this specific item. And if you have something from Zara, then go and list it on a Zara Anthropologie Free People party that Poshmark is putting up, because this is the perfect way for more people to see what you have listed, and more ways for people to find your page and look at all the stuff that you're selling, which is also really awesome. And tip number 8, which is probably one of the easiest ones in this entire video, and that tip is to turn on your notifications. I know, I hate being a sucker for doing this. I normally am like, nope, don't give me the notifications. I already get way too many notifications on my phone. But if you don't turn on your notifications, somebody could go in and offer something on one of your items and you could miss it, and they could change their mind or find something else that's cheaper or better. Or you could miss parties that go on. Parties always notify me whenever they're starting, or even before they start, a little bit before, which I really appreciate, and they just give you so many options to sell, which is really cool. And I think that it's really important to have your notifications on, because then you won't miss anything. There's been so many times where I can tell when someone doesn't have their notifications on because it takes them 2 days to respond to any questions that I have on any of their items listed, like does this have any flaws, does this smell strange, or you know. It's really important that you are really being at it with responses, because people will move on and then you won't sell your stuff, which is super unfortunate, but it happens all the time. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. It means so much to me, and I know that this will help you. This video will help you so much if you listen to all the tips that I gave. They're all really simple and super easy to follow. I really hope that your Poshmark experience has been as good as mine has been. There's always a little bit of ups and downs, but once you really learn the ropes and learn the do's and don'ts of Poshmark, it can become so easy and actually kind of fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!